Most men think women are walking away because they said the wrong line or made the wrong move or didn't look a certain way. They never stop to consider the real reason. And the real reason is brutal. She wasn't turned off. She wasn't offended. She wasn't testing you. She was bored out of her mind. And boredom is the one thing a woman will not forgive a man for. I learned this again the hard way last week. A couple of Wolfpack brothers sent me testimonial videos I wanted to use for an ad campaign. They said amazing things about the group. The results were real. The stories, they were powerful. But the delivery was so boring that if I aired those videos as is, nobody would ever join the group. The results were real. Okay, yeah, but delivery, da-da-da-da-da. They'd assumed the Wolfpack is some big beige room with men whispering about their feelings if people saw that video. Meanwhile, the group is a damn riot. It's loud, funny, sharp, and full of life. And that gap right there between great content and boring delivery is the same gap that ruins dates for men who don't know it's even happening. It reminded me of when I was doing door-to-door sales. My manager used to teach us with a simple party test. He'd describe a party in a flat, monotone voice. No music, no energy, no excitement, just people standing around, staring at a wall. Then he would describe another party. Same words, same ideas, but this time with energy. Music's blasting, hot women everywhere, people laughing, people in motion, actual life happening. And he'd ask, which party would you rather go to? And everyone picked the second one, obviously. But here's the punchline. Most guys go on dates, they sound exactly like the first party. Okay, they show up talking like a spreadsheet. They talk about their job like they're reading a manual. Their tone has one speed. Their stories land flat. Their presence never changes. And then they wonder why she says, "You're great, but I didn't feel a spark." Pook said it perfectly. Perfect is boring. And every man who tries to be flawless ends up sounding lifeless. Women don't want flawless. Women want life. Energy beats technique. Animation beats perfection. Presence beats polish. You were animated as a kid. You were loud, playful, curious, full of personality. Somewhere along the line, you buried that spark under work, stress, and fear of looking foolish. And that is why so many men lose on dates, even when they look good. They have money, they have morals, they have discipline, and they do the right things because women do not choose the right things. Women choose the man who wakes something up inside them. And you cannot wake up anything in her if you sound like you're delivering a weather report. So today's stream is simple. If you want to win more dates, if you want women laughing, leaning in, touching you, and wanting more, if you want to feel confident instead of tense, then you need one skill. Not better lines, not better tricks, not more reading of books, even though I got lots of books for you. You need energy. You need life, because a man can be anything to a woman, but he can't be boring.
We're going live, baby.
We'll do it live.
You're listening to the premier podcast for men who want to not only be better with women, but want to be better men in general. This is the Come On Man podcast. And here's your host,
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer. He is a certified master life coach and NLP practitioner.
It's true. It's damn true. What's going on, guys? Happy hump day. If you are new to the channel, my name is Paul Bauer. I help men level up and get better with women. And the funny thing about doing that is it tends to make us better men in all areas of our lives. Now, I mentioned it there in the intro, but this whole topic started because of boring, boring Wolfpack testimonials. And you know, I don't want to put anyone on blast. I see Omega here saying, shit, I hope my second video gets aired. And we're not at the 8-minute mark. Guys, send super chats, would you? I'm not airing anybody's videos because I don't want to put any specific guys on blast. But Omega here, he actually had a really great idea. He said, man, you know what? I'm getting so much value out of this group. A lot of guys clearly are getting a lot of value out of this group. Let's get together. We'll do a separate Wolfpack hangout. And what I'd like everyone to do, and this is him saying this, he goes, what I'd like everyone to do is just join the hangout and talk about what you love about the Wolfpack and what value you've gotten out of it so that we can help Paul get more guys in the group. And I said, well, the only problem with that is that on Telegram, you know, when we do our video calls, we can't record them, which is a part of the point because a lot of guys don't want to join these spaces. They're afraid that their information is going to get out there. They use fake names and all this kind of stuff, right? They want to remain anonymous. So that's one of the reasons why I use Telegram is because we can keep a little bit of anonymity there for those guys that care about that sort of thing. And so I said, what would be better is if you guys could like just take a video of yourself talking about all the stuff that you love about the Wolfpack and just DM me, and then I can cut that into a promo. And well, anyway, a few of the guys DM'd me, right? And the first two that I got sounded like it just sounded like robots talking. It's like it's not these guys' fault. They're not used to being on camera. Like I do this for a living. I'm up here. I'm shucking and jiving for you guys all the time, right? But these guys, they sent me these videos that were just very much like I got a lot of value out of the group and I have leveled up a lot. And you know, and it's just like, oh my God, dude, if I put that out there, people would not join the group. They would think it's the most boring group on the planet, right? So I dropped a video telling guys like, I need some more pizzazz out of you guys. I need some more energy. You know what I mean? And then I told them the story that I actually learned that doing door-to-door office supply sales. We'll talk about that here in a second, but I brought that up in the group as an example of like, guys, listen, if you guys really want to help me out, you guys need to add some pizzazz to this, right? And then one of the other guys, Brother Jeff, if you guys watch the promo video, I do have a promo video here. Let me just show it to you guys real quick. Yeah, here, hold on. I got it right here. That's not it. Hold on. I got to figure out these controls. Video storage. That's what I want. Okay. Watch this video right here. Okay. Now, I could tell you that the Wolfpack is the best men's group on the planet, but why don't I let the members tell you?
It's a proven group that's helped me.
We're in there every day helping each other level up.
This is a group that has really changed my life.
It's a bunch of like-minded guys who are on their journey to level up and become the best men that they can be.
Going through a rough divorce and need some advice, need some support.
Digital nomads, get in the pack.
From your finances to working out, getting your fitness together.
What are you doing with your life? Join Wolfpack.
For the love of God, somebody to sweep me. So, you know, I was doing the best I could with what I had there. But that guy at the end, that's Brother Jeff. And because I put the video out of like, you guys need more pizzazz. I need to see a little more razzle dazzle with this, right? He sent that video. What are you doing with your life? I was like, perfect. This is exactly what I'm talking about. By the way, guys, if you are new to the channel, do be sure to like, subscribe, hit those notifications. I have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday without fail. All right. So yeah. So as I mentioned in the intro, I did door-to-door office supply sales sometime after the Navy, right? And one day the boss was talking to us about how when we go and we're trying to sell office supplies, it's probably one of the most boring things on the planet to sell, right? We're selling freaking ink cartridges. That was like what we were leading in with, like, hey, we got the best deal on ink cartridges. Well, one of the things that he talked about was selling a party. He goes, if you go to someone and say, I'm having a get together on Saturday. I would like for you to go. We're gonna have some chips, maybe some dip. I don't know. Probably listen to some music. Would you like to go to that? Like most guys would be like, no, hell no, I don't want to go to that, right? But if you're like, man, I got this raging party going this weekend. We're gonna have lots of girls there. We got booze flowing. We got freaking wild animals walking through this son of a bitch, right? Like this sounds like a fun party to go to when you have a lot of energy, right? Because you're excited about it, right? So the idea is that if you're excited about this thing, other people are going to get excited too. It's classic NLP, if you think about it. And so what got me thinking was, man, if these guys are like this on dates, and I know a lot of you guys are, like, so when I do my one-on-one coaching for dead bedroom clients, right? A part of helping guys out of a dead bedroom is becoming more attractive for their wives, right? Because these guys have gotten to a place where they followed the betaization process down to the bottom of the barrel. They are just plow horses for their wives. All they do is they work, they come home, and they might play with the kids a little bit. They watch football, repeat. Like, they are boring as shit. Okay. And so then now they're in a dead bedroom situation and they're like, I don't understand what's going on. Sex at the beginning of the relationship was great. It's like, yeah, because you've become this boring house husband now, right? You're not an attractive guy anymore. And so they also never learned how to like handle shit tests and all this kind of stuff. And what you'll find is that a lot of those guys, when you start teaching them like how to handle shit tests and stuff like that, they really struggle with stuff like agree and amplify, because agree and amplify requires you to be quick-witted and sort of cocky funny a little bit, and you need to be able to be quick on your feet and be able to like have good comebacks quickly. These guys are so boring that they can't do it. They can't think quickly. They're very monotoned. And so the best thing for them, at least for now, is, treating shit tests with indifference, right? It's the next best thing for guys that aren't that animated, that aren't quick on their feet, and that aren't that funny or interesting yet, right? But the guys who are able to turn their dead bedrooms around very quickly are the guys that can get it. They get it. They understand that their energy is being felt by their girl. Okay. Now, here's the thing. There's other guys in the red pill space. I don't want to name names. I don't want to shit on anybody, right? But one of my mentors in the space, he hates the idea of energy. When you talk about, hey, a girl feeling your energy, he's like, what does that even mean, right? It's palpable, though. You can tell when someone's more energetic and more upbeat, and someone who is very flat and very monotone and stuff like that. Like, you can feel it. Now, whether it's because you're very perceptive and you're just noticing it, or, you actually are feeling the energy coming out, doesn't fucking matter. Okay. It's a real thing. And if you care how you're care about your results with women at all, you're going to want to learn how to up the energy a little bit. Okay. So, so a lot of guys, this is how they're showing up on dates. They're showing up like they're talking about the most boring shit ever. They're not being animated. They're not being funny. And women are just like, oh my God, I can't be with this guy. He's boring as fuck, right? Now, a lot of you guys are going to complain and go, well, what about the women out there? Yeah, there's going to be boring ass women too. And it's not your job to get them to be animated. Like, if they're not that way, you need to move on and find a woman that has a little more fun-loving energy. Okay. But do you see how it works both ways? If a woman's going to be with you and you're a fucking stick in the mud, she's not going to want to hang around. All right. So let me ask you this. If a woman described the energy on your last date with one word, what would she choose? Be honest with yourself here, guys. If a woman described the energy on your last date with one word, what would she choose? Let me know in the chat or the comments if you're watching the replay. I not to toot my own horn, but I would venture to say that nurse chick would describe me on a date as a barrel of monkeys. I think the last one we went to, I took her up to Sips up in Cedar Edge, and I was cracking jokes the whole time. Like in Nurse Chick, she's very quiet and reserved. She does joke around, and she has a very dark sense of humor, which I love about her, but she's very quiet and reserved. And so when I take her out, she is just laughing her ass off because I'm a barrel of monkeys over here. But listen, you can be anything to a woman, but you can't be boring. It's something that I learned from Puck, right? You could be calm, you could be confident, you could be quiet, you could be loud, funny, or serious, but you can't be a boring guy. Being boring kills attraction faster than anything. Okay. And so if you go back, I have a whole playlist on this. If you guys haven't read the Book of Puck, go check out my Book of Puck playlist on my YouTube channel. But Puck was really good about talking about this, about embracing like your inner child. He talked about how when you were a kid on the playground, you would be chasing girls around and playing on the monkey bars, and you had a lot of energy, and women and the little girls would giggle and want to play with you and all this kind of stuff. And then as adults, we just get so focused on day to day and our work and all this kind of stuff that we forget how to have fucking fun. We forget how to have fun. And dating and relationships, it needs to be fun. Okay. If any of you guys find relationships to be a grind or dating to be a grind, it's because you're not having any fun. But guess what? Fun is a choice. Okay. Fun is up here. You can make things fun if you're a fun guy. If you're a boring guy, you'll have a hard time making anything fun, right? And perfect is boring. Okay. Women like a guy with a little bit of, he was a little rough around the edges. Guys work so hard to be flawless that they stop being human. Okay. Especially, oh man. And I think this is why a lot of guys on the spectrum, and I'm talking about like, Asperger's and all that, all that kind of stuff. A lot of those guys gravitate to the red pill space because they lack a lot of social skills. It's not their fault. It's just how they're wired. But they often come across as very robotic because they don't have the same, types of feelings that's people that aren't on the spectrum do, right? So they really struggle with this sort of thing about having a good time, understanding jokes, understanding banter and all that kind of stuff. So they really struggle with this, right? And so they end up trying not to mess things up, and then them trying not to mess things up ends up making them very robotic and boring and stuff. You know what I mean? So they talk like polished robots, but women don't want that. They want a guy who's got no filter. You know what I mean? A lot of guys are afraid of offending chicks. You know what I mean? But what you'll find is that chicks actually respect you when you speak your mind a little bit better. One of the newer brothers in Wolfpack was talking about that. He's like, I've got, what does he say? I'm respectful. I got morals, and I'm afraid of getting Me Too'd, right? It's one of the newer guys said that. And I was like, first of all, getting Me Too'd doesn't happen as much as you would think. And a lot of what you say to women, it doesn't matter. It's how you make them feel. So a lot of it's in the delivery. You know what I mean? And this is where I'm talking about when you have high energy and you're a funny guy and you're a little bit animated, you can get away with a lot of shit. You can get away with saying a lot of dirty shit. And chicks just think it's a funny class act type guy, right? Like he's just like, oh, this guy's a hoot. I get a kick out of this guy, right? But a guy who's very boring, robotic, will say literally the same thing, and a woman will be like, ew, get away from me, right? Because it'll come across as creepy just because it's not weird. It's just it's in the delivery and not exactly what you say. It's very much like there's that meme out there where a handsome guy walks up to a chick and he's like, hey, Brittany, nice tits or whatever. And she's like, oh, thank you. Right. And then the same guy walks up and he goes, he's like sort of an uglier looking guy, I guess. And he's like, oh, you look very sharp today or whatever. She's like, oh, get away from me, creepo. I'm calling HR. You know what I mean? It's like the guy who's attractive to women gets away with more stuff, but a lot of it too isn't how he looks. It's in the delivery and in his energy and how he makes her feel when he delivers that shit. Right. So something to think about, guys, something to think about. By the way, my book, Keep Your Bitch, came out this month. I'm really promoting it pretty hard right now, so check this out. Right now, your relationship might feel solid. She is warm, she's affectionate, she treats you well. And you think you finally figured it out. But if you look back over your life, how many times did things feel the same right before she pulled the plug? No warning, no big fight. Just one day she said she was done and you were left replaying conversations trying to figure out what you missed. Most men never see it coming, not because they're clueless, but because attraction fades quietly. She doesn't announce it. She simply responds to how you show up. And if you don't know how to keep attraction alive over the long term, you can be the most loyal man on earth and still get hit with the same ending you thought you had outgrown. The pattern repeats unless you understand why it happens. That is why I wrote Keep Your Bitch. It's for men who want to keep a good relationship strong, not fix a broken one. It teaches you how to stay grounded, consistent, confident, and attractive in a way she continues to respond to year after year. Whether you're in something new or you're in your second or third marriage and failure is not an option, this book gives you the structure to make sure you never get blindsided again. If you want to keep what you have and never repeat past mistakes, the book is available now on Amazon. Pick it up today. Indeed. I had a guy tell me, he's like, well, I need to get a bitch first before I can keep a bitch. Well, that's what this book's for. Everything I wish I knew when I was 18. That's your book. Anyway, we got some people in the chat here. Guys, remember, smashing like is, in fact, alpha. Okay. Nurse Chick's in the house. She says, good morning, gentlemen. Happy hump day.
I'm so naughty.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna come.
Yep.
That pussy must be ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, guys. Absolutely. JD Ambrose says, hello there. Hello. Erkin says, is there still any quiet and reserved women in 2025? Yeah, but they're Pisces. You got to look for a Pisces girl. Okay. Omega says, wait, we're allowed to have fun as adults? I'm afraid so. Yeah. Fun fact. You actually can. Brother Ed's in the house. He says, relaxed and focused. I could crank it up more. Yes, Ed, you can, you need to add a little more razzle dazzle, right? Oh, he sent a $10 super chat too. He says, trying to not let the old man in, fun in 2026. God damn right. I'm going to give you this one here.
Respect the cock and tame the cunt.
Yes, that's what we do here on this channel. All right. And Omega says, buy the books, folks. And then DDR Pimp 123 says, morning, everyone. Happy hump day. Happy hump day indeed. I'm trying to get you guys humping a little bit more today. That's what we're working on. So if you guys go back to my Book of Pook series, like I said, I have a playlist on my channel for the Book of Pook. If you haven't read it yet, I highly recommend you guys read the Book of Pook. If you're not familiar with the Book of Pook, it is a series of old forum posts from a guy going by the handle of Pook back in the old So Suave forums, which if you guys don't know what So Suave is, it's still out there, sosuave.com. It's the pickup artist forum that Rollo Tomasi really got his start out of. Well, this guy in the early 2000s was writing a lot of really profound articles about dating that someone compiled all together. I don't know if it was Pook himself, but someone compiled all of his old stuff together and created the Book of Pook. And there's 3 books now. There's Book of Pook 1, 2, and 3. But when we talk about the Book of Pook, it's if you go on Amazon, it's Book of Pook Volume 1. You can also find audiobooks out there on YouTube, free audiobooks available for it, because it's not officially like copywritten, I don't think. Jack Napier did a version of Book of Pook, the audio version. But either way, Pook has a story, a dating show story, right? He used to write a lot in allegory. You know what I mean? He would create these bullshit stories up just to illustrate a point. And one of them was a dating show story. And in that story, the smooth, polished guy did everything right, said everything that he thought women wanted to hear. And meanwhile, there was this goofball, wild acting guy who joked around and acted like a kid, basically, had fun like a kid. And the women in the story chose the goofy guy because he was fun. He was fun. He wasn't boring, right? So this is a good example of this sort of thing of you want to be the kind of guy that women have fun with. You know, if you're a guy that's a fun guy that goes on fun dates and fun things, like don't just go to take women out to dinner all the time. In fact, don't take women out to dinner until you're sleeping with them. You know what I mean? Like keep dates low investment, like drinks in the evening until you're sleeping with these chicks. Okay. But there's no reason not to go on fun dates like go-karts and you know, escape rooms and miniature golf and friggin' like anything that you could go and have fun with. Go take chicks to go do that stuff. Like Nurse Chick and I, we go and do axe throwing sometimes. Like that stuff is fun to do. Okay. But if you're a boring guy and all you do is fucking dinner dates all the time and dinner and a movie, it's boring as shit. Okay. A lot of guys think that, you know, women are all about money and you got to spend a lot of money on. You don't. You know what a really fun date is for women that costs nothing? Geocaching. Take a chick on a geocaching date around town one night. Okay. You can download the app. It's free to be to go to geocaching.org, I think it is, and sign up for an account. There's free apps for your phone, and you can go and do this for free. And all it is it's basically a high-tech scavenger hunt. All right. And people hide this shit everywhere. They're all over. They're in every city. They're out in the country. If you go on hikes, there's like big things out in the countryside, right? People like to hide ammo boxes with like lots of trinkets and shit in it and stuff like that. And the whole goal is to find these things and sign a logbook, right? But it's so much fun to look for. And in cities, a lot of it's hidden in plain sight that you would never even know was there, right? It's a free thing. It's fun to do. And chicks love having fun. Okay. So you got to understand that personality beats perfection every single time with this, like there might be a guy who, you know, he's learned all the pickup lines. He's learned all the phrases that we say in the space and all that kind of stuff. But if he delivers it without any kind of, I don't know, any kind of emotion, right? It's going to not create a spark at all. And women, they want that. They want a guy that makes them feel something. Right. And they don't, the last thing they want to feel is being bored. Right. All right. By the way, guys, if you guys get value out of any of these episodes, do consider sending a super chat, would you? Be like Shreddy Eddie, send a super chat. Besides, I think I demonetized the show. I said the S word. We can't be adults till the 8-minute mark. And I screwed that up. A lot of guys, they move through life like their body's in a cage too, right? So Pook said most guys have no electricity coming out of them, no animation, no presence. And unfortunately, that's also how they show up when they're talking to women. You know what I mean? There was this guy, I did business coaching last year. I hired a business coach. I worked with them for a good portion of this year too. I went out to an event in Toronto in April, I think it was. Nurse Chick and I went out to Toronto for their event. So basically October through April, I was working with this coach. And there was this one guy in their group, man. He was an accountant, right? Imagine how animated a fucking accountant's going to be, right? And he absolutely wasn't. Like, he was a guy who he was very much like this. He would talk like this, very smart with numbers though, right? But he was very much, you know, a very boring guy. And we had to, when we were up in Toronto, we had to do these exercises where we had to get in front of the camera and we had to deliver promos and stuff like that, because they were showing us how to have better presence on camera. And they hired an acting coach to come in and everything, right? And so I get up there and I'm just like, hey, you know, like I'm just being, you know, me. And the acting coach is like, this is really good. Like, you're really good at this stuff. And I was like, yeah, I lettered in acting when I was in high school, you know, and I'm a podcaster. I'm a professional podcaster. Like, yeah, I'm used to being in front of the camera. But a lot of the people in that group, these are like executive type people, you know, accountants and all that kind of stuff. They are not used to being in front of the camera. And they were like, as soon as they got in front of the camera, they were like, right. And so like, I know some of the guys in the group, right? Cause this started the guys of the Wolfpack sending me these videos that were very, very boring, right? But if you get on a call with them, you know, like we get on our group call, they're a little more relaxed, they're a little more whatever, but it's like as soon as you put something in front of them, like a camera or a girl, all of a sudden it changes. All of a sudden they're too worried about what they're going to say or whatever, and so it comes across as robotic. You know what I mean? And so that's how a lot of guys are. That's how a lot of guys are like that. And they're not just comfortable being in their own skin. It's a part of the reason why women like guys that are fun and happy and they have no filter and they say what they want, is because they're being themselves. They're not intimidated by this chick. They are what women refer to as confident. Man, he's really confident, right? Because he doesn't give a shit. You see what I'm saying? Now, I keep coming back to this, right? We were all animated as kids, then life beat it out of us. This is also comes from Puck. Puck has a story about being a kid on the playground and how you're used to tug on girls' ponytails, and women fucking complained about it, but they loved it, right? The little girls, they loved that shit. They would come and chase after you for tugging on their ponytails. And you were like that as a kid. A lot of guys were, but then we grow up and we get boring. You know what I mean? So it's buried under responsibility. So what Puck was really trying to get guys to do was to like get back to that, get back to being fun and the fun and playful guy that has fun with life. You know, work is always going to be there. Okay. There's no sense worrying about work when you're not at work. Okay. Just put it out of your mind and have more fun in the moment. But most of you guys are so busy worrying about how you fucked up something yesterday, and you're worried about the consequences of it tomorrow. Like, yesterday and tomorrow don't even fucking exist. Okay. They only exist in your mind. The only thing you have is right now. So be fun right now, especially when you're in front of a girl, or one, you're delivering a promo for the Wolfpack. Beer club? Not anymore.
Wolfpack, you fix what's broken. Just fire, just flame. Cold bed, broken home, midlife drift, feeling alone. You don't need hacks, blogs, lies. You need men with fire in their eyes. We rebuild from the ground up. No excuses, no soft stuff. Telegram lit, 24/7. Brothers locked in, steel, not heaven. Step inside the pack. We don't fall, we attack. Truth, fire, presence, we bring it back. Masculine pride, no time to slack. Step inside the pack. Drop your past, claim your track. No therapy talk, no playing small. We sharpen blades, we take it all.
Yes, indeed. DDR Pimp 123 says, I bought Keep Your Bitch and can't wait to dive in. Awesome. Hey, if you guys have read any of my books, do be sure to leave a review on Amazon or Audible. I'm getting killed right now by fucking feminists for Keep Your Bitch. Like, I pissed off some feminists on Facebook, and they are going there and leaving like real shitty reviews. And I'm like, you haven't even read the book, bitch. Like, come on. You're killing it for the other guys that are getting value out of it. But a lot of the Wolfpack guys have read it, and they're getting a lot of value out of it. I see brother Kamal in the Wolfpack. He's dropping quotes from the book. I guess he really likes it, so that's good. Book of Puck. Yes, the Book of Puck. It will change your life. And like I said, there's no audio version of it on Audible. But if you go to Jack Napier's Gumroad page, you can he's got a version of it. There's also a free version of the full book on YouTube that I listened to. That's the one I listened to when I first read that, or listened to it rather. I ripped it from this guy's YouTube video and listened to it on my phone with an MP3 player. But it is a goddamn good book. It's definitely recommended reading. Book of Puck. Yes, indeed. Smashing like is alpha, guys. Just don't forget that. Handsome Pete's in the house. What's up, man? And then Dar Fitness, smashing the like button is alpha, getting the Wolfpack too sweet. Goddamn right. All right, let's see here. Women don't go on dates hoping to meet a boring accountant. Yeah, so that reminds. So going back to my story about being in business coaching, there was that guy in there who was literally like a CPA and just boring as the day is long. And the funny thing is, when we were getting up to do the acting coaching stuff like that, the acting coach was like, smile, you need to smile. People want to, they'll trust you more if you smile. And which is funny because on dating apps, what you'll find is that women find men with a playful smirk or a brooding look more attractive than guys with a goofy smile on their face all the time. Right. But when it comes to selling, people trust guys that smile, apparently. And so they were trying to get this guy to smile, and he goes, I can't smile. It physically pains me. I've got a mouth issue where I can't, which is, I don't know how true that was, because he would smile occasionally, when we were all just goofing off, in between sessions and stuff like that. He would smile occasionally. So I'm like, are you sure about that? Or is that just something you say because you're so fucking nervous that you can't relax and be yourself? Right. But your voice, more than just the words coming out of your mouth, is what women pick up. Okay. Women are very perceptive to subtext. Okay. 95% of communication comes from your body language and your tone. Okay. Body language and tone, especially with women. If you guys read the book Atomic Attraction, one of the most fascinating things about that book is that you learn that women are very perceptive to body language, very perceptive, and men are not. And so one of the things that they did to test this out was they had women looking at videos with the sound off. And there was a couple of things that they were doing with this test, right? One, they wanted to find out if women could tell which men were wearing cologne just by body language, and they could, because guys were wearing cologne had more confident body language. So the women couldn't even smell it, but they were like, I think that guy's got it, right? And women were very accurate. Like, they got like 99% of that shit right. Then they were also testing to see how men and women how perceptive they are when it comes to body language. And men, something like 20% of dudes could tell what was going on in a video based purely on the body language, but something like 70% of women could, right? And that was fascinating to watch. So you've got to understand that if you're if you don't move, you got your hands in your pockets, and you've got very nervous body language, and your tone and your inflection in your voice is very fucking monotone and robotic, you could be the most handsome looking dude on the planet and you're going to give women the ick. Okay. So you've got to learn how to put some inflection in your voice and change that tone up and down based on what you're saying to give it more energy. Okay. And same with your body language. You've got to have wide open, relaxed body language when you're talking to women, because a guy who's got wide open, relaxed body language shows confidence. Okay. A lot of what we're doing on dates too is we're signaling pre-selection to women. I was just talking about this on X. I'm back on X, by the way, guys. We'll talk about that here in a second. But just on X with Fort Worth Playboy, right? A lot of women, where was I going with that? We're talking about body language, or let's see, what were we talking about? Yeah, now I lost it. What was I talking about, guys? Now I completely lost it. We're talking about inflection and body language, and yeah. Anyway, I guess we'll move on. I can't remember what I was going to say with that. Like, Paul, did you just forget? Yeah. I think I've got early onset Alzheimer's. Anyway, confidence. Oh yes, confidence. I was talking about confidence. Women are just more wired to respond to more confident men, right? Women understand body language better. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you guys get the point though. All right, moving on. what got me off track was talking about my social media, and I am back on X, guys. I am now at Best Men's Pod on X. And you guys are like, why Best Men's Pod? My backup account for TikTok is at Best Men's Pod. So I'm also at Best Men's Pod on TikTok on one of my accounts. And since I got banned from X a month ago, I figured, hey, why not use that handle for X? So you guys can follow me again on X. In fact, if you guys have used to follow me on there, please go follow me. The new link's in the description, I believe. But if not, just look for at Best Men's Pod on there. I don't have a blue check mark yet. I'm waiting because they billed me after they banned me. They still billed me at the end of the month for fucking X Premium. And I was like, the fuck, you guys banned me for this shit. And I can't go in to the old account and turn that off. It's like, you're not allowed to turn this off and shit. So I think I might have to fucking get a new credit card and fucking before I even think about getting a blue check mark on there again. Anyway. All right. What was, God, it really bothers me that I can't remember what I was going to talk about, but that's all right. Moving on. Attraction dies quietly when a man's boring. So a lot of guys think that everything's fine, right? Because she smiles, she hugs them, she hasn't left yet. But you'll find, especially in long-term relationships, that boredom kills attraction slowly. It's a slow death. There's not going to be a lot of warning signs. It just fades over time. And next thing you know, she's cheating on you. And you're like, why the fuck did you cheat on me? And she's like, oh, because you were a boring guy. Yeah. You know what? I thought so too. Erkin says, I thought you are allowed to say anything when you have premium. I thought so too, but apparently not. Apparently not. Oh, let's see here. Let's hide that. Okay. So attraction dies quietly. So that's one of the things that I talk about in Keep Your Bitch. Honestly, in Keep Your Bitch, a lot of it is about not allowing that attraction to die. You know what I mean? And not getting complacent, not just like resting on your laurels and thinking that you've reached some magical finish line. The work never stops. If you are going to be in a long-term relationship, you've got to keep that energy going for the long term. And a lot of guys are like, oh, that's exhausting. Like, when can I just relax and be boring in a relationship? Well, if you want it to last, never. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, and that's really what it comes down to. What do you want? Okay. If you want to be a boring guy that, never has to, do any of that kind of stuff, go MGTOW and just, swear off relationships. Okay. Maybe relationships just aren't for you, or just be a permanent plate spinner. But the thing is, if you're a permanent plate spinner, you got to be high energy and stuff like that to smash all these chicks that you're going out and hunting for all the time, all the new chicks. It's the same amount of energy. You might as well, if you find a decent woman that you enjoy her company, like there's no reason not to keep doing it. And one of the things when I discovered this, because that used to be me, that's what killed, the relationships that got me into this space, right? Is I had the idea that there was this mythical finish line. And so I would get complacent and get boring in relationships. And when I realized like that was a killer of the relationship, and I had to be more of a fun guy, I was like, wait a second, I get to have fun, right? I looked at it that way, like, oh man, this is actually awesome. I get to be a fun person. I get to have fun. And when you look at it that way, like you get to do this and oh man, I get to have fun whenever I want. Like, and you make it fun. It's not work. It stops being work, right? A big part of guys fixing their dead bedrooms is learning how to have fun again and being more of an attractive social guy, right? That's what I teach in the Passive Dread Blueprint. But you guys got to understand that overall energy is more attractive than looks or status. It's really hard for guys to understand this concept in 2025 or going into 2026 because like 75% of relationships start online now, right? And when it comes to dating apps, it's looks first. Okay. You have to build a brand basically when you're online dating, and women look at your pictures first, then they look at your bio, and then they decide whether they want to match with you or not. And then after that, it's all on how you open. You know what I mean? And then once you get a conversation going, then it's about how you close. So dating apps come down to 4 things, right? Your pictures, your bio, how you open, and how you close. Okay. So a lot of guys struggle with this. The thing is, though, if you are struggling with that because maybe you're more challenged in the looks department, maybe you're more of a heavyset guy, cold approach and social circle games probably going to be more up your speed, right? More up your alley, because you have a chance to show your confidence and your body language and your tone and your playfulness and your personality, right? Your energy. Okay. You get to showcase all your faculties. And so the thing is that when it's dating apps, it's looks first, right? But when you're in person, women respond to a confident man the same way that a man responds to a woman with a great pair of tits. You know what I mean? And so when you walk up and you confidently approach and you're a funny guy and you're animated, chicks dig that. That's why you see heavyset guys with perfect tens, because women, they also like the bigger guys sometimes because it makes them feel safe. You know what I mean? But if a guy who's a big guy and he's confident and he's cocky and funny and animated and stuff like that, women love that shit. It's way better than status or looks. Okay. Now, going back to the Wolfpack, one of the reasons why the Wolfpack is so effective, in my opinion, one of the reasons why the Wolfpack is so effective is because we have fun with a lot of this stuff. A lot of guys join the pack because their relationships are falling apart. They just recently went through a breakup. The dating circuit sucks, like whatever it is. They join the group because they want to swap notes with guys that are making it work, right? Guys that have figured shit out. And we have guys at all levels in the group. And the thing is that we have fun in there and we don't have any fucking filters in there. It's just dudes. So it's like we can say whatever the fuck we want in there and no one gives a shit. No one's offended. You know what I mean? And so it's a fun place where guys can swap notes and level up and get better with women and get better in other areas of their life, right? But we have fun in there. And that's one of the reasons why it works. So when the guys put together some of their videos and it was just like super, very monotone or whatever, I was like, fuck, no one's going to want to join the group. No one's going to want to join the group when they're like, oh, fuck, that sounds boring as fuck. I'm not going to go do that. Like, no, man, it's a fucking party in here. It's so much fun, right? It's fun. Plus, we're all getting laid. Like, there's nothing better than that. But fun is one of the strongest attraction triggers for women, right? So bringing this back to dating, when you're a fun guy that's cracking jokes and doing all this kind of stuff, like women want to be more around that. You know what I mean? You're creating positive emotional tension, as Dr. Robert Glover says. You know what I mean? It's you're creating heat, healthy emotional anticipation and tension, like I like to say. You're doing all that kind of stuff because it's fun. Like who doesn't want to keep going back to more fun, right? You're really sparking those dopamine receptors at chicks. And if you look at alpha fucks, beta bucks, if you read Athol K's book, The Married Man Sex Life Primer, he said that, for you guys that don't like alpha and beta, you can look at it like the chemical responses in a woman's body, right? Alpha is all dopamine hits. This is you being a fun guy. This is alpha energy, okay? And beta is boring energy, right? That's the oxytocin, comfort, love type shit. A lot of you guys are too heavy on the comfort, love, oxytocin shit. And this is why she loves you, but she's not in love with you because you're not spiking those dopamine receptors because you're boring as fuck. Okay. So you got to understand that it's an attraction trigger, but you don't have to be a performer, because this is where a lot of like MGTOW guys get all offended and shit. Black pillars are like, oh, so what? We got to be a fucking dancing monkey now? You don't have to be a dancing monkey, okay? You just need to be alive a little bit. You need to enjoy yourself. You just need to have fun, okay? You're not doing this to be performative. You're not doing this to put on a fucking show. You're doing this because you generally enjoy life, you enjoy the dating process, you enjoy the company of women, and by having fun when you're on a date, that just showcases that. Women are like, oh, this guy likes women. This guy likes being around women. He's clearly good with women. This is what signals pre-selection, even if you don't have any chicks yet. That's what I was going to talk about. With Fort Worth Playboy, we're talking about how to fake it, fake it until you make it. When you are out on the dating circuit, right, and you act like a guy who's confident around women, you're fun with them, you have no filter, you're not scared of offending them, and you're able to crack jokes, all this kind of stuff. It signals pre-selection, because women are like, oh, well, if he's this confident around me, he's got to be confident around other women. Because a lot of guys, when they're around women, they get really nervous and shit, right? And so if you're not nervous around other women, that naturally signals pre-selection. That's what I was going to talk about. I knew I was going to come back to it. But you don't need to be a dancing monkey to do that, okay? You just need to bring higher energy and enthusiasm, okay? And that's not acting. It's not, you're not putting on a performance. You're just a guy that enjoys life and enjoys having fun, okay? Chemistry is created by animation, right? It's not magic. It's just two people who are expressive together. And if you show up boring, there's really nothing for her to bounce off of. It's the same reason. Think about it when you go on a date with a chick that you got to fucking drag a goddamn conversation out of her, right? It sucks. Well, put yourself in her shoes. If you're the kind of guy that she's got to drag fun out of you and you're just like, oh, fun? Fuck that. I don't want to do fun. Fun sucks, right? Women don't want to be around that. You know what I mean? Like, why do you hate fun so much? You know what I mean? Women pick the lively guy because he wakes something up in them. Okay. Guys get mad when she chooses the playful guy, but she's not choosing, she's not choosing a crazy life. She's choosing to experience life. Okay. She's choosing that energy that the guy can bring. Okay. So if this is something that you're struggling with, this is something I would work on. Like, you can do this. You can practice this stuff in front of a mirror when no one's around. You can practice being a fun-loving guy. You just put on some music, put on that new song, or it's not new, it's an old song, right? That song by Kato or whatever, baby turn the lights off or whatever, the one that John Hamm's all dancing to now. That's all the rage right now. Just stand in your living room, just feel that shit. All right. Long story short, guys, if you want better dates, stop being boring and start being alive. Stop chasing flawless behavior. Stop trying to be perfect. Bring some energy, bring humor, bring the spark. You can be anything to a woman, but you can't be boring. So you might as well also have fun with it, right? All right. Okay, what do we got here? I'm going to go through the chat here and then we'll wrap this up. Why would I pay if I will be censored? So the reason why, like, I wouldn't, if I was an average guy on X that's not trying to build a following, and you're just on there because you want to read the news or occasionally comment on people, I would not pay at all for X. Fuck them. I'm so like pissed off by being banned with them. I used to be like, no, pay for it because it's a free speech platform and shit like that. No, fuck those guys. The reason why I would still do it is because I am trying to build a following, and they suppress you if you don't have a blue check mark now. So if I go and comment on a post, they put my comments at the bottom of the comment section, and they put people with premium up at the top. So if I want to get noticed and build my following, I have to pay. That's business, but I can write that shit off. You know what I mean? How do you toe the line between being fun and talkative, but still having some mystery? Well, so you want to let her do 80% of the talking, okay? But when she's doing the talking, this is where you make assumptions. You playfully make fun of some of the shit she talks about. Like, that's how you do it, right? And if she says something that it is exciting, like, you get excited about it. Like, ooh, tell me more about that kind of stuff, right? But you keep her talking. That's how you do that. Let's see here. JH says, Fort Worth Playboy is kind of out of touch with times. He kind of just gives advice from trends noticed at a distance. He's a more hip role. A lot of his stuff, though, it's accurate. It's accurate. I mean, a lot of stuff he talks about is the same stuff that I talk about that I found still works. So what would you say is out of touch with the times? I'm curious to know your take on that, because I think he, like, a lot of the shit he talks about is 100% spot on. 100% spot on. A lot of guys will say, a lot of stuff that we talk about in red pill space is out of touch with the times because of stuff like the Me Too movement and the fucking, like all the stuff that like feminists say, that's all bullshit. All of it's bullshit. You know what I mean? Like women respond to what women respond to, and they always have. So a lot of the stuff that women say, you can safely ignore that shit. You know what I mean? And just watch what they respond to. All right, guys. Brother Larry here says, yes, they do like the funny big guys. Yes, they do. Yeah, we had a brother in Wolfpack for a while there. He was a stand-up comic. His brother Lee was in the group, and Lee was hilarious, fucking hilarious. And he would get dates all the time because he was fucking funny as shit. You know what I mean? All right. And he's also like fucking 400, 500 pounds too. He's a big dude. He's been working on losing that weight though. And over the last couple of years, he's lost quite a bit of it, but he's still a big dude. All right. Guys, tune into the podcast on Friday. We're continuing my Think and Grow Rich based mini series for December. Friday's episode is going to be around Napoleon Hill's concept of autosuggestion, reprogramming your subconscious mind, and how to instill faith in yourself. So that should be a good one. And then if you guys stick around until the end of the credits, the video on YouTube anyway is going to redirect you to Apex Mindset, to Paul Benjamin's channel, because at noon Eastern time today, Paul Benjamin's going to have me on Apex Mindset to talk about my new book, Keep Your Bitch. So if you guys are interested in what Paul has to say about that book, definitely tune into that. That's all we got though, guys. If you haven't done so already, do like, subscribe, hit those notifications. I have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We will see you guys over on Paul Benjamin's channel in a couple of hours.
This has been the Come On Man podcast. Now, go out and get it.